Excuse me looking like trash and doo-doo piss. I'm so sorry. I have to get a retwist soon, and I don't want to do my hair. And we're doing really well, actually, in terms of being and existing in this world, for sure. But I made a sketchbook. Yeah, I made this. Here are the pages. It's tied together by this ribbon. And here it is. This is a sketchbook. I haven't used it yet. But this is that. So I like it, and I wanted a big sketchbook, and I didn't want to buy a big sketchbook, so I made a big sketchbook with little ribbon and like bows on the end, which I kind of like. So yeah. I don't know. What can I talk about? The rise of nonchalantness in Gen Z. I feel like everybody's nonchalant, and it's just so strange. I don't know if that's like, if this is just me, but it feels like everybody, like nobody cares about anything anymore. It's like I kind of understand, like, yeah, the world's going to shit, and it's like everybody's becoming more isolated and feeling more alone, but it's like nobody, I don't know, it's just like social interactions feel more transactional than ever, and it doesn't really feel like you can connect with people even like in person, which is like supposed to be the kind of like truest form of connection, is in person. But it doesn't really feel like, even in person, it feels like there's this kind of like barrier. And it's not just like a couple people, it feels like everybody that I've met and the groups of friends I've had along the way, even though they sometimes have been very vulnerable and like all very kind, it just feels like there's this disconnect. And I don't know if it's like me, because like I'm the constant in every of these situations, and I'm feeling like I'm not connecting with people. And maybe that's me, like maybe that's a me thing, or maybe it's like a general thing. And I don't know, but I feel like sometimes like I'm too overeager to like spend time with people, hang out with people, have deep conversations with people, want to like spend time and hang out with people and just get to know them. And I feel like I'm sometimes too forward, or even just too like excited, or too like invested. And it feels like there's always this air of disconnection and like not apathy, but like just like not a kind of like want to like get to know people. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to like me meeting other people, it feels like every person I met, like they want to know who I am to like a certain extent, but there's a barrier, and it like only goes so far. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the consistent level that I've been getting for a while. And I think maybe it is also in part to do with me. In terms of like how much I share with people. And I'm usually more interested in getting to know people than the other way around, like them getting to know me. And I usually would rather just get to know people than really like open up myself. So yeah, but I think it's a mix of both. I think it's definitely like I have things to work on in terms of being social with people. And yeah, I don't know. And oftentimes other people kind of don't try. So it's like a mix of both things. And I think it's just being a young person, but like I don't know, because it's harder to make friends when you're older. And I feel like the older I get, the harder it will be to make friends. And so like either this issue will be exacerbated or like I just will be alone. I'm wondering if anybody else feels this way. I mean, I think so. But yeah, it just really sucks. And it feels like I feel like the loneliest I've ever been. But I feel like I'm always at the loneliest I've ever been at a lot of points in time. And so I kind of just am always like one foot into friendships now. Like one foot in, one foot out. Just in case like it goes bad or like I don't know. And it also feels like that's also what other people are doing as well. Like they're never like really invested. So it's kind of like a both half invested. But the thing is, I kind of like discern that. Like I'm never like going into a friendship being like one foot in, one foot out method. But over time, that is what develops. Cause I don't know. And I'm not sure. I think I should talk to my therapist about this, actually. I think that would be a good thing to do. But yeah. And I think I'm just really not good with being alone for long periods of time. Like I'm on break right now and it's just been like miserable. But I think there's also other factors into that, so it's not like completely just that. But I'm finding it like really difficult to kind of like really like where I'm at in general. And I feel like this is I don't know. I feel like I'm always kind of just like spacing out to kind of like mentally be somewhere else instead of where I am right now, which I don't like. And yeah, I just don't like that. But I don't know where I would want to be and what that would really look like. So it's kind of just like I don't know what to do and where to go, but also I try to find solace in people saying like, other people giving advice and saying like, oh, in your 20s you're like bound to feel lost and not know where you're going and not have your life figured out and not know what you're doing, which I think is completely true. And it makes me feel a little bit better that, yeah, this is not a solitary experience, but when you're going through it alone, it definitely feels like you're the only person going through it, and you're like lost in a way that other people aren't lost. You're like more lost than other people and more kind of just like not knowing what you're doing and not having a sense of self and not like doing fun things or kind of like having experiences that would help you know yourself better. And of course, like being alone helps you know yourself better, but the experiences I've had with being alone are more of just a catalyst for like loneliness rather than getting to know myself. And people are like, do what you like do the things that you want to do, and like eventually you'll get to know yourself. And it's like, that's kind of what I'm doing. And it's like really, I feel like there's a limit to being alone and getting to know myself. And I feel like to get to know yourself, you really have to experience life. And I also think that getting to know yourself is not completely a solitary process. I think that there should be other people involved in that, and that, you know, the social aspect of your life and the community that you have also is really integral in helping you get to know who you are, and helping you find yourself. And I think with a lack of that, you only get to know yourself so much. And I personally just don't think that getting to know myself in this really isolated bubble of just being alone and feeling negatively about it is really conducive to me getting to fully know myself. And it's like when I do try to socialize and branch out, it's not as connected as I want it to be. So it's kind of like this stalemate between I can only spend so much time with myself, but then when I do spend time with people, it's not as like genuine, and there's also something lacking there. So it feels like I have these two kind of parts of my life that are really lacking. And it doesn't really have to do with like, this is no shade to like my previous friends, the friends I have now. It's more of just like a trend that I've seen and that I'm seeing, and that I also know that other people are feeling. Even my friends are feeling this as well. So it's more of just like a cultural thing rather than like an individual person-to-person thing. I think especially with like being in America and it being a very individualistic place and having a very individualistic way of thinking, I think it's definitely not helping people feeling lonely, because the solution to like problems is very individualistic. It's like your problems are your problems. You solve your problems on your own. If you want, you can ask for help, but it's not like assumed. And the onus is kind of on the individual to figure themselves out as an individual on their own. And once they figure themselves out as an individual on their own, then maybe they can like go and be with other people. You know what I mean? In terms of friendships, in terms of relationships. And I think that, you know, a lot of like formative aspects of getting to know oneself is through other people. You don't have to be fully fleshed out to spend time with other people, to get to know other people, to get to know yourself. This is what the little doodles I drew. And